Yeah, so we had a busy day today talking about rowing, so we thought we might as well just keep it going. So we thought, let's find out what's happening at the SASS program. So we've got the assistant coach in, Christine McLaren joins us. Christine, how are you going?
Good afternoon. Good, thank you. How are you?
Very well. So the assistant coach rowing program at SASS, what's an average week like for you?
A good few early mornings.
Yeah.
And then obviously some work in the office, and then also some training into the evenings as well.
When you talk about a few early mornings, what are you calling early mornings on the lake?
We're actually pretty lucky with our program because all of them actually are out of school in the SASS program, so we can start a leisurely 6:45 in the morning.
7:45?
7:45.
Just be a bit, it's freezing. That's what happens out there at 7:45. It's very cold. The progress of the kids right now, we're talking before the couple of rowing athletes, how difficult it is to stay focused when the target keeps moving, with them World Junior Championships, Olympic Games, whatever. Have you found that difficult working with the athletes to keep them focused?
Yeah, look, this year's been particularly tough for them. Just as we were heading into our national championships in March, obviously COVID came and it was lockdown, so they missed out on the national championships, which then would lead into selection trials for the Australian team.
Wow.
And then obviously hopefully following on an overseas trip and a 21, 23 or a junior team. So it's been pretty tough for the athletes, for everything suddenly to stop, have a bit of a break and then try to refocus without doing what we normally do in training.
You talked about earlier off air about a talent search program. I'm interested to know how that works, because how do you find a rower? Do you get them from other sports, or do you go to schools? How does it all work?
Yeah, sure. So SASS run a talent search program. That's been on the go for years now at SASS. They test for 4 Olympic sports, and we're lucky enough that rowing is one of these sports. So initially we go out to schools and we do a baseline testing to see how fit, how strong and how athletic the students are. Following that, we do a phase 2 testing where the sports do individual testing. So for rowing, we test endurance and strength, and we look for size in athletes as well. From there, we select a squad, and that's our squad for our talent search program.
Yeah, that's okay. But if you come to my school and I'm a footballer and whatever, why do I test? Do I know that I'm testing for rowing, or am I just doing a test here?
Initially, you're tested for all sports. You're just doing a test.
Yeah.
In the second round of testing, you'll know that you're testing for rowing.
Okay.
So we try and run the testing for rowing down at West Lakes.
Yeah.
So as the students then get an opportunity to go out on the lake and actually experience rowing.
Have you got any success stories? Like some guy, did you find somebody who never jumped in a boat before?
Yep, we've had a few actually. So we've got one girl, Olympian. She's a world champion, she's an under 23 champion, she's a junior medalist, youth Olympic medalist as well. She came along one day and did the testing, and the few of us that were there, we all looked at her and went, yep, she's going to be good.
So then do you have to convince her that rowing is your sport?
Correct. Yes, we did. So the good thing about when the athletes come down to West Lakes, they're obviously interested in the sport. So we're over the first hurdle with them. But then we do have to try and get them to love our sport. So we're pretty fortunate with the clubs that we have. They're all really good at welcoming new people. And the institute, the SASS program is really welcoming as well. And the older athletes are really good at encouraging the younger ones and, welcoming them into the sport.
So I know, Christine, talking to some of the athletes that have gone on to row for Australia and stuff like that, they came through that testing process. They said the second phase for them was when they tested and they got really good results, and someone said, you've got great results to be an Australian rower.
Yeah.
Suddenly everything in their mindset changed from I wanted to play footy or I wanted to play netball, I can represent Australia in rowing.
Yeah.
And that's, they thought that was the moment that they fell in love.
Yep.
And to rowing's credit, the testing that they put in place pretty much indicates that if you get these results, that will follow if you do the work.
Yeah.
So they've had a great process, haven't they?
Yeah, it's a pretty strong process, and we've got a lot of history in the data now, so we can actually tell physically whether an athlete could potentially, do really well at rowing. Obviously, you've got the other side of it, the commitment, the early mornings, and juggling schoolwork, uni work alongside it. But there's a few other things that come into play, but certainly that physical potential is a huge part of it.
I know my time in Canberra, the rowing obviously used to go down on the lake there. In the middle of the winter, the fog would come in. So Ron Holtbuck, who was a famous rowing coach, had gone out in his little tinny, and the boys had rolled off in the awesome foursome and left him and lost him in the fog. Of course, when they came back in, they said they did all the work, but he made them go again because he didn't believe them. Did we get the fog out on the lake that bad that the coaches can't?
Oh, funnily enough, the last couple of weeks we've had about 3 or 4 days where the fog has come in, and it hasn't lifted all day. So we then have to trot off to the ergo room at SASS and do our training there instead, which the athletes would prefer to be on the water than in the ergo room. I can tell you
Ever
that.
been in the ergo room?
No.
No, you want to be out on the lake.
Yeah, 100%.
Hey, Christine, we really appreciate your time coming in. Good luck in the next couple of months. Hopefully the COVID thing will start to settle down.
Yep.
The athletes can have some goals that are achievable for them, and things come back to some normality for you.
Cool. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Christine McLaren, assistant coach at SASS, our special guest. Stay with us.